yesterday class. Now, in today's class, we are going to discuss about dual nature of matter. See, after completion of this, we'll solve problems based on spectral and wavelengths, wave numbers, frequencies, and all those. Afterwards, radius, energy of the orbit. Based on that, some problems are there. In the next class, we'll discuss those. Now, let us see dual nature of matter. So, as you know, the dual nature of electromagnetic radiation was proposed by Max Planck. So Max Planck proposed that actually wave theory and particle theory, two theories are proposed. The particle nature of electromagnetic radiation was explained by Max Planck by quantum theory. Okay, right. So there are some limitations in Bohr's theory. To overcome these limitations, the scientist de Broglie the scientist de Broglie has proposed a dual nature for the matter. So according to this theory, he proposed that all fast moving particles which are associated with less mass are having a dual nature. That means they are having both wave nature as well as particle nature. So the dual nature of matter was proposed by the scientist de Broglie. Okay, and according to this theory, he proposed that the wavelength of the matter wave. So wavelength of matter wave is nothing but if a particle having certain mass is moving in the form of waves, that is called as matter wave. Let us take an electron. So electron is revolving around the nucleus in circular paths. That is closed circular paths as per Bohr's theory. Okay, but de Broglie proposed that electrons are revolving around the nucleus in closed circular path in the form of waves. Okay, so de Broglie proposed the wave nature of the matter waves. So according to this theory, he proposed that the wavelength of the matter wave is inversely proportional to the momentum of the particle. Lambda is proportional to 1 by p. That means lambda is equal to h by p, where h is Planck's constant and p is momentum. So as you know, so momentum of a particle is equal to mass into velocity. So lambda is equal to h by mv. So these equations are known as de Broglie equations. So de Broglie extended the dual nature not only to electromagnetic radiation. He proposed that all fast moving particles with less mass are associated with dual nature, and the wavelength of that matter wave is inversely proportional to the momentum of the particle. So lambda is proportional to 1 by p, and we can equalize this by multiplying the constant h. So lambda is equal to h by p. Therefore lambda is equal to h by p is nothing but momentum, which is nothing but a product of mass into velocity mv. So lambda is equal to h by mv. This is according to de Broglie's theory. Now see, this de Broglie's theory we can prove from Max Planck's quantum theory as well as Einstein's theory. I will show the proof of lambda is equal to h by mv. See here, according to Einstein's theory, E is equal to mc square. So E is equal to mc square according to Einstein, where c is the velocity of light. And according to Planck's theory, E is equal to h nu. That is that means nu is nothing but c by lambda. That is E is equal to hc by lambda. Now let it be equation 1 and equation 2. Now just equalize equation 1 and equation 2. E is equal to mc square. Here E is equal to hc by lambda. If we equalize both these two equations, then we can get equation 1 is equal to equation 2. That means mc square is equal to hc by lambda. Here cc get cancelled. Then lambda is equal to h by mc. So where c is velocity of the radiation. Suppose if velocity of the particle which is moving is v, if a particle is moving with velocity v, then lambda is equal to h by mv. Lambda is equal to h by mv. So this is the relation here. So this is the proof for de Broglie's theory. So the wavelength of the matter wave is equal to h by mv, where h is mass, h is Planck's constant and m is mass of the particle. And means that, so if you take an atom, this is the nucleus, so this is the orbit. As per Niels Bohr theory, electron is revolving in around the nucleus in closed circular path. But as per de Broglie's theory, this closed circular path is ruled out. According to de Broglie's theory, electron is revolving around the nucleus in the form of waves like this. This is, and this is called as matter wave. That is called as matter wave. So let us say what is the electromagnetic wave and what is matter wave. See, electromagnetic wave consists of both a magnetic component and electric component. Electric wave and magnetic wave both are mutually perpendicular to each other. But this matter wave does not consist of any components. Does not consist of electric wave or magnetic wave. Right? Next. All electromagnetic radiations are having velocity equal to velocity of the light. But the velocity of the matter wave here. So the velocity of the matter wave is not equal to, the velocity of the matter wave is not equal to velocity of the light. Different matter waves are having different velocities. Electron or some other particles, different matter waves are having different velocities. This is a major comparison between electromagnetic wave and matter wave. Okay, right. Now, so for an electron wave, that is for a matter wave to exist, the condition required here is what the circumference of the orbit is there. 2 pi r is equal to n lambda. The circumference of the orbit must be equal to integral multiple of the wavelength. This is the equation. So 2 pi r is equal to n lambda. That is, the circumference of the orbit must be equal to integral multiple of wavelength. Then only the matter wave can exist. Suppose, let us see, this is an orbit. This is an electron wave, like this electron wave is there. So here starting point and ending point are not same. That means the electron wave is out of phase here. See, first path, second path difference. Again, third path differs like this. That means this type of matter wave does not exist. So for a matter wave to exist, the initial point and final point must be same. And for a matter wave like this to exist, the condition required here is the circumference of the orbit must be equal to integral multiple of wavelength. If the circumference of the orbit is equal to integral multiple of wavelength, then only the matter wave can exist. Otherwise, that matter wave does not exist. So whether this is correct or not. Okay. So let us see here. See once again. Electromagnetic radiation is having dual nature. But de Broglie extended this dual nature to all types of fast moving particles. He proposed that not only electromagnetic radiation but also all fast moving particles like electrons are associated with wave nature. That means all fast moving particles are having both wave nature as well as particle nature. And the wavelength of that matter wave lambda is proportional to 1 by p momentum, and lambda is equal to h by p, that is lambda is equal to h by mv. This equation is known as de Broglie's equation. This lambda is equal to h by mv we can prove from both Einstein's theory and Planck's quantum theory. According to Einstein's theory, E is equal to mc square. According to Planck's quantum theory, E is equal to hc by lambda. If we equalize both of them, here E is equal to mc square, here E is equal to c by lambda. Then if you simplify this, we can get lambda is equal to h by mc, where here c is the velocity of the particles. If the velocity of the particle is v, then lambda is equal to h by mv. So this is the proof for de Broglie's equation. And de Broglie proposed that for a matter wave to exist, what is matter wave? So the part means if a particle is moving with high velocity in the form of waves, that is called as matter wave. Right. For a matter wave to exist for an electron, the circumference of the orbit must be equal to integral multiple of wavelength. That means 2 pi r is equal to n lambda. If this condition is satisfied, then only this matter wave can exist. Let us see now. Otherwise, that matter wave does not exist. So here, 2 pi r is equal to n lambda. This is according to de Broglie's theory. Comma, lambda is equal to h by mv. Now here, substitute lambda is equal to h by mv. Then this becomes 2 pi r is equal to n h by mv. Take mv to here and 2 pi to here. Then you can get mvr is equal to nh by 2 pi. Means by taking de Broglie's equations, lambda is equal to h by mv and 2 pi r is equal to n lambda. Now replace lambda is equal to h by mv here. Then we can get mvr is equal to nh by 2 pi, which is Bohr's theory according to. That means from de Broglie's theory, we have proved the Bohr's theory equation. That means de Broglie theory and Bohr's theory are in good agreement with each other. So what de Broglie proposed, this condition is correct. So 2 pi r is equal to n lambda. Okay. So this is regarding de Broglie's theory. Now, how to calculate wavelength of matter wave under different conditions? So here, lambda is equal to h by mv. Suppose instead of giving velocity of the particle, if they give kinetic energy of the particle, then how to calculate wavelength? Let us see. As we know that kinetic energy is equal to half m v square. Then 2 times of kinetic energy by m is equal to v square. Therefore, v is equal to root 2 ke by m. Okay. So velocity of the particle v is equal to root 2 ke by m. Now substitute this v is equal to root 2 ke by m here. Okay. Then on substituting v is equal to root 2 ke by m in this equation becomes lambda is equal to h by m into root 2 ke by m. If this m comes under the root, it becomes m square. Then m and m get cancelled. Then lambda becomes equal to lambda is equal to h by root 2m ke kinetic energy. This is the equation. If the kinetic energy of the ejected electron is known, from kinetic energy we will calculate the wavelength of the electron, wavelength of the that matter wave by this relation. Okay, the wavelength of the matter wave lambda is equal to h by root 2m ke, where ke is kinetic energy. This is one relation. And so one more relation is there. See, say as we know that kinetic energy is equal to charge into potential difference. So this is nothing but a charge. This is a potential difference. Charge into potential difference means if an electron is accelerated by applying a potential of v volts, then the kinetic energy acquired by that electron is equal to q into v, where q is charge of the electron, v is the potential difference. Okay, one simple example I'll tell you here. As you know, 1 electron volt is equal to how much? 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19 joules. Then how got this? This is nothing but kinetic energy of the electron, Ke. Okay, so kinetic energy of the electron is equal to, what is the potential difference? 1 volt we applied. So 1 volt into, what is the charge of electron? 1.602 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs. That is the kinetic energy. Okay, so kinetic energy is nothing but a charge into potential difference. 1 electron volt is equal to 1.602 into 10 power minus 19 joules. What is the meaning of this? This means that when an electron is accelerated by applying a potential difference of 1 volt, the kinetic energy acquired by the electron is known as 1 electron volt, which is equal to 1.602 into 10 power minus 19 joules, like this. So the kinetic energy of the electron is equal to charge into potential difference. Therefore, the wavelength lambda we can represent as lambda is equal to h by root 2m ke. So ke is nothing but a charge into potential difference, qv. So this is the relation. So when an electron is accelerated by applying a potential difference of v volts, then what is the wavelength of the electron? Then lambda is equal to h by root 2m qv. So by using these relations, we can calculate the wavelength of the matter waves. Okay, right. But overall, lambda is equal to h by p. See, once again, I'll tell you all those equations. So according to de Broglie's theory, lambda is equal to h by p. lambda is equal to h by mv. And one more condition what I said, the circumference of the orbit 2 pi r is equal to n lambda. And one more relation is this one, lambda is equal to h by root 2m ke, and lambda is equal to h by root 2m qv. These are the relations used to calculate wavelength of the a matter wave. When momentum given, we will apply this relation. When velocity of the particle given, apply this relation. When kinetic energy of particle given, this formula. When a particle is accelerated by applying a potential difference of v volts, then apply this relation. Okay, but one thing, this de Broglie's theory is significant only for fast moving particles with less mass. So this de Broglie theory is insignificant for the particles which are associated with the mass having milligram or more than that. Let us see here. I will calculate the wavelength of a particle having mass 1 milligram. Mass of the particle is equal to 1 milligram. 1 milligram is nothing but this is 10 power 6 kilograms. Then lambda is equal to h by mv. So if a particle having a mass 1 milligram is moving with velocity, I'll take the velocity also equal to velocity of light. So velocity approximately, I'll take velocity of light 10 power minus or 10 power 3 into 10 power 8 meters per second. Let us take. If 1 milligram sized particle is moving with velocity of light, then what is its wavelength? So lambda is equal to 6.626 into 10 power minus 34 by what is the mass? 10 power minus 6 into velocity. This is 3 into 10 power 8. Now if you simplify this, you can get 2.208 approximately into 10 to the power of this becomes 10 power 10 square, 10 power minus 36 it becomes lambda meters. Okay, so let us consider a particle having mass 1 milligram. That means 10 power minus 6 kilograms. And let the velocity of the particle is equal to velocity of light, 3 into 10 power 8. Then by taking this mass and velocity, if we calculate the wavelength of the particle, how much we got here? The wavelength of the particle nearly we got 2.208 into 10 power minus 636 meters. This is the wavelength. See, this value is very much less. 10 power minus 36 is very much less, which is out of any real consequence. Means there is no real application by taking this 10 power minus 36 meters. Means that wavelength is almost negligible, not considered. That means the particle motion is not considered as a wave. So de Broglie theory is not applicable to the particles having the mass having milligram or more than that. The concept of de Broglie theory is applicable only to the particles which are having a mass very less. That means like electrons. See the same if you take a electron here, for example. What is the mass of electron? 9 into 10 power minus 31. Then you can get a wavelength in terms of some angstroms. That is considered. Otherwise, not considered. Overall, de Broglie theory is applicable only to microscopic particles like electrons with very less mass and moving with high velocity. This de Broglie theory is not applicable to the particle having mass milligram or more than that. Yes. So this is about de Broglie's theory. Okay. See once. De Broglie proposed the dual nature for all fast moving particles like electrons. He proposed that not only electromagnetic radiation but also all fast moving particles with less mass are having dual nature. And he proposed that the wavelength of that matter wave is inversely proportional to the momentum of the particle, lambda proportional to 1 by p, and it is equalized by multiplying with the constant which is Planck's constant. Then lambda is equal to h by p, and so lambda is equal to h by mv, where p is nothing but mass into velocity. So lambda is equal to h by mv, and that we can prove by taking Einstein's equation and Planck's quantum theory. Next, de Broglie proposed that electron is revolving around the nucleus in closed circular path in the form of waves, and the circumference of that orbit is equal to integral multiple of wavelength. 2 pi r is equal to n lambda. Now, by taking 2 pi r is equal to n lambda and lambda is equal to h by mv, we can prove the Bohr's equation mvr is equal to n h by 2 pi. This indicates that de Broglie's theory and Bohr's theory are in good agreement with each other. Next, if the kinetic energy of the moving particle given, then the wavelength can be calculated by the relation lambda is equal to h by root 2m ke. Suppose if a particle is accelerated having charge q under a potential difference of v volts, then the wavelength of the particle lambda is equal to h by root 2m qv. These are the relations. And one more. Mr. de Broglie theory is applicable only to microscopic particles but not to macroscopic particles. So the wavelength associated with a particle having mass milligram or more than that, the calculated de Broglie wavelength is very less, which is negligible. So this is applicable only for the fast moving particles with very less mass. Okay, right. Next, as I said right now, electron is revolving around the nucleus in the form of waves like this. This is electron wave. Region. This is an electron wave. Right. This is orbit. Then, how many waves are present in an orbit? Number of waves in an orbit is equal to n, nothing but. Number of waves that are present in an orbit is nothing but equal to orbit number. Okay, right. not like this. Start. Pi r is equal to n lambda. Lambda is equal to h by mv. No, no. Pi r is equal to n lambda. N is equal to 2 pi r by lambda. 2 pi r by h by mv. This is equal to 2 pi by h into mvr. This is equal to 2 pi by h is equal to into nh by 2 pi is equal to n. Right. Just here now. So according to de Broglie theory, 2 pi r is equal to n lambda, where n is nothing but orbit, number of waves. So circumference is equal to integral multiple of wavelength. Here n is nothing but number of waves. So 2 pi r by lambda is equal to n. That means number of waves is equal to 2 pi r by lambda as per de Broglie's theory. So according to de Broglie's theory, 2 pi r is equal to integral multiple of wavelength. Where n is nothing but number of waves. Here n is equal to number of waves. So number of waves is equal to 2 pi r by lambda. According to Bohr's theory, we know that lambda is equal to h by mv. Replace lambda with h by mv. Then we can get 2 pi by h into mvr. Now, according to Bohr's theory, mvr is equal to nh by 2 pi. Angular momentum is equal to integral multiple of h by 2 pi. Now, replace mvr with nh by 2 pi. 2 pi, 2 pi get cancelled, hh get cancelled, is equal to n. What is n here? Which is nothing but equal to orbit number. According to Bohr's theory, mvr is equal to nh by 2 pi, where n is nothing but orbit number. Here n, what we got here, there is nothing but orbit number. So number of waves in an orbit is nothing but equal to orbit number. Means if you take a first orbit contains only one wave. If you take a second orbit consists of only two waves. If you take a third orbit consists of three waves, and so on. Nth orbit consists of n waves. So this is regarding de Broglie's theory. Okay. Right. So as per this de Broglie theory, not only for electromagnetic radiation, but also for all fast moving particles with less mass like electrons possess dual nature, and the wavelength of the electron revolving in an orbit is rated with its circumference as 2 pi r is equal to n lambda. That means if the circumference of the orbit is equal to integral multiple of wavelength, then only that matter wave can exist. Otherwise that matter wave does not exist. So this is de Broglie's theory. Overall, this de Broglie theory is applicable only to microscopic particles but not to macroscopic particles. Okay. Next one, Heisenberg uncertainty principle. In Bohr's theory, we discussed the limitations of Bohr's theory. So Bohr's theory is against to Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Now we'll discuss regarding that Heisenberg uncertainty principle. What is Heisenberg uncertainty principle? Why it is against to Bohr's theory? Now let us see. See what the statement here is. According to Heisenberg, it is impossible to determine both position and momentum or velocity of subatomic particles like electrons simultaneously. So once again, according to this Heisenberg, he proposed that it is impossible to determine both position and momentum or velocity of subatomic particles like electron simultaneously and accurately. But according to Bohr's theory, it indicates that it is possible to calculate both position and velocity of the electron simultaneously in an orbit. So this Heisenberg theory is opposite to Bohr's concept. Let us see. So according to this Heisenberg principle, delta x is the uncertainty in position. Right. See what is meant by uncertainty. Let us see. See if we take one simple balance which can measure weights in terms of grams, 1 gram, 2 gram, 3 gram, like that. Suppose if the balance, if an object contains a mass of some 5.9 grams. If 5.9 grams is there, it will not show 5.9 grams there, it will show 6 grams there. If it has having 5.1 gram also, it can show 6 grams. So between 5 and 6, if any value is there, that will not be measured by using that simple balance. That means the uncertainty of that balance is nothing but 1 gram, means less than 1 gram, 0.99 grams. So we can measure 1, 2, 3 like that. Between 1 and 2 any value is there, we cannot measure exactly by using that simple balance. So this uncertainty in position means within what distance we cannot find the location of electron around the nucleus. So around the nucleus, within which distance we cannot find the position of electron accurately. That is nothing but uncertainty in position, comma, delta P is equal to uncertainty in momentum. Okay, so delta x is uncertainty in position, delta P is uncertainty in momentum. Then according to Heisenberg, he proposed that it is impossible to calculate the position as well as momentum, means x and p simultaneously we cannot calculate. Means we can calculate position and momentum both simultaneously with some uncertainty. Accurately we cannot calculate. And he proposed that the product of this uncertainty in position and uncertainty in momentum is a minimum of h by 4 pi. Means delta x into delta p is greater than or equal to h by 4 pi. See once again. It is not possible to find the location of electron, that is x, and the momentum p simultaneously. But we can calculate both with some uncertainty. The uncertainty in position is delta x. The uncertainty in momentum is delta p. Then the product of these two is a minimum of h by 4 pi. The same we can convert one more terms here, as we know that P is equal to mv. Then delta P is equal to m delta v. If the velocity of the particle is changed, then momentum will change. Mass remains same almost. So delta P is equal to m delta v. Now replace delta P with M delta V here. Then you can get delta X into M delta V is greater than or equal to H by 4 pi. That means delta X into delta V is greater than or equal to H by 4 pi M. This is the equation. So X and V both we cannot calculate. X and P we cannot calculate both simultaneous and accurately. So position and momentum. Otherwise position and velocity both can be calculated with some uncertainty. And the product of those uncertainty of position and momentum is a minimum of H by 4 pi. Okay. Then see why it is not possible to calculate both position and velocity of a particle like electron simultaneously. Suppose, so this is a particle, means this is an orbit, this is nucleus, here an electron is there which is moving with some velocity. See, the electrons are not visible to our eyes. Then how we can detect an electron which is moving around the nucleus? The electron which is revolving around the nucleus can be detected by passing certain radiation over that. By passing some radiation, we can locate the position of the electron. Okay. So on passing radiation on electron, we can locate electron, means X we can calculate. But at the same time, whenever radiation is made to fall on electron, the electron absorbs photons. If the electron absorbs photons, the kinetic energy of electron increases. That means the velocity of electron increases. That means momentum increases. So if you locate the position of electron accurately by passing radiation, simultaneously the velocity of electron changes. Means we cannot calculate the velocity of the electron. Okay. Suppose if electron is revolving here, if you calculate the velocity of the electron accurately, we cannot calculate the position of the electron accurately. Means both position and velocity cannot be calculated simultaneously and accurately. Now let us see here. I will take two different cases here. Case 1. If position of electron calculated accurately, if the position of the electron is calculated accurately, then uncertainty in position is 0. Electron we are locating exactly, means uncertainty in locating electron is 0. Means simply, so if an exam was conducted for 100 marks, if you got 100 marks, then what is your uncertainty? 0. You got 100 out of 100, means there is no uncertainty, 0 delta X. Suppose if you got 90 marks, then your uncertainty is 10%. Your uncertainty is 10%, uncertainty is 90%, like that. So if the position is calculated accurately, then uncertainty in position is 0, means delta X is equal to 0. Substitute this delta X is equal to 0 in this equation. Then delta X into delta V is equal to H by 4 pi M. Okay, it is greater than or equal to minimum of H by 4 pi. Now delta V is equal to H by 4 pi M into delta X. So delta V is equal to H by 4 pi M into delta X. What is the value of delta X here? 0. So which is equal to H by 4 pi M into 0. Something by 0 is equal to infinity. Means if you have located an electron accurately, then uncertainty in velocity is infinitive. That means we cannot calculate the velocity of the electron. Okay. Now similarly, I'll take one more case, case 2. Exactly opposite this is. Now case 2 I'll take. If velocity calculated, accurately, then delta V is equal to 0. Now see here, then what is the value of delta x? Delta x is equal to h by 4 pi m into delta V. This is equal to h by 4 pi m into 0. Something by 0 is equal to infinite. Delta x infinite. Means if the velocity of the electron is calculated accurately, then uncertainty in position is infinite. So simultaneously we cannot calculate both velocity and position of electron. If you calculate position accurately, velocity we cannot calculate. If you calculate velocity accurately, we cannot calculate the position of electron. Simultaneously and accurately both cannot be calculated. This is as per this Heisenberg uncertainty principle. But according to Bohr's theory, it is possible to find both position and velocity of electron revolving in a circular orbit. That's why this Heisenberg uncertainty principle is against to Bohr's theory. So this de Broglie theory and Heisenberg uncertainty principle rules out the existence of definite circular paths. Okay, you just remember this equation here. Delta x into delta p is greater than or equal to h by 4 pi, or delta x into delta v is greater than or equal to h by 4 pi m. Okay, so this is for today's class. Again tomorrow we'll meet.